Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink. Welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, HD version, of course. It is the 7th of December 2016, and I believe that this is part 25. I'm pretty sure that I am correct about that. I'm only going based on the files that I have on my computer at the moment, and I'm pretty sure I have all of the files that I've recorded, so it should be part 25. But yeah, it's been a little while since I've recorded, or since I last recorded this game. And I don't know how long it's been exactly. I think it's been maybe a week, something like that. So yeah, anyway. As you can see, there's something going on in here, something very strange. And we did mention it towards the end of the previous video. And you could sort of see with the waterfall that this was the case, but yeah. Time has indeed stopped here. And we're soon going to find out why, but, yeah. What we need to do now... I'm assuming this is the same as the original game. Oh, okay. Alright, Link. I'll need you to listen to me for a moment. The item you seek is hidden somewhere in this castle. To find it, you must find the entrance to the basement. But, that entrance has been blocked by a mighty threshold, firmly sealed to prevent evil from ever gaining access. Do you know where to search, and what you must do to open the hidden way? You will find a clue in the shape of the heraldry near where we've arrived in the castle. Well... even more than that, I think it's the fact that it's actually printed on the ground, you know, it's not even... you don't even need to look at the thing, or whatever, you know, the heraldry, whatever he was referring to. You don't even need to look at that, just look at the ground, it shows you what you need to do. But, yeah, now the funny thing is, whenever I start doing this, and I mentioned this in my previous Let's Play of this game, what the fuck am I doing? Anyway, that's a good question, but the funny thing is, whenever I start doing this, I always feel like it's going to be a lot harder than it actually is, but it ends up being pretty easy, so, come on. Why don't you... No, not what I wanted. So I'll just pull this again. So I think this one is generally the easiest one. No, stop that. Just trying to make me sidle. No. Oh yeah, that's right. It's because I'm standing in the center, so the game doesn't really know like where I'm trying to take it. There we go. And oftentimes I find myself in the center by the end. Sometimes you don't even end up in the center by the end. Really depends how you're actually doing it, but yeah, if you finish in the center like me, then I suppose you're doing it how I'm doing it, so good on you. I ended up on the outside for the first time in a long time. Well, there you go. And now the Triforce has been created. And it won't restore time just yet. Well, that's never going to restore time, but time will not be restored just yet, is what I'm trying to say. Or the flow of time. How many times do I need to repeat that sentence until I'm happy with it? Anyway, so now that we have done that, we will gain access to a hidden passageway. What the fuck was it? Did you just see that? See, that looked really weird to me. It looked like I'd created some kind of weird green pathway behind me. And not the kind of green that my tunic has, but rather like a really dirty, murky, dark, bluish green. Excellent, Link. To perceive such a puzzle and decipher it is no small feat. Okay, it really was not an amazingly difficult puzzle, I'm just gonna say. Now, take the sword that lies before you. It is none other than the Master Sword, the blade of evil's bane. It is the only sword that can banish Ganon from the world above. Yes, sir. I will take it. And obviously it's a very, oh. Yeah, it's obviously a reference to the Sword in the Stone from the, how do I even say that? Is it Arthurian or Arthurian? Arthurian? I don't know. Anyway, the point is that it's a bit of a legend thing from bloody Albion. The whole Sword in the Stone business. And King Arthur and all of that. So obviously that's where this whole story has its roots. And so now, of course, as you can imagine, now that time is being restored, we will have quite a room of enemies to take on. And time is about to come back. Give it a moment. There we go. And these guys just continue wandering around like nothing ever happened. I don't exactly know how long ago it was time stopped. It's never really said, I don't think, but anyway. All of the swords are together, meaning I don't know what. Some kind of sign of respect. Link's quite excited about his new sword, as you can tell. He's holding it above his head with a very serious expression on his face. You've got the Master Sword, the legendary blade with the power to repel evil, once wielded by the legendary hero himself. As you can tell, the Master Sword does not look quite the same as it did originally, and there's a reason for this, but we will get to that later. So, we currently have it sheathed, as you can tell. We are never again going to have that sword that we had before. This is our permanent upgraded sword. And of course it is going to be doing more damage at this point, so that's a good thing to mention. Definitely can't complain about damage upgrades for our weapon. If the Master Sword wasn't doing more damage to enemies than that previous sword that we had, what was that previous sword called? Was it just called like... I hope it wasn't called Hero's Sword, it was just a normal sword, really. Now I just need to remember the controls here because it's been a while. I like how I'm needing to remember the controls for this game, how ridiculous is that? So I need to, okay, I meant to roll, and I'm pretty sure that I did roll, but for whatever reason it made me sheathe my weapon. Now if you stop and press A it sheathes your weapon, but I wasn't stopped at that time, so I don't know why that happened. Anyway, let's do that. That was a good overhead strike there, I liked that. Are you dead? Yes you are. See, ordinarily it would take longer to kill these guys, but because I'm actually using the Master Sword, it will be a bit of a faster process, which is good because we do have a room full of enemies, and yeah, it would take a long time to kill these guys if we didn't have the upgraded Master Sword. Can you stop doing that? See, I keep trying to do the... I don't know the name of it, it's like the... It's when you jump to the side and then do a jumping spin attack in Twilight Princess. I keep trying to do that, it's really dumb. Like, clearly I can't do that in this game, but I keep trying to. I guess it's because the last 3D Zelda game that I actually played was Twilight Princess, so I am trying to do what I did in Twilight Princess because of that. Anyway, let's pick up this sword. And this thing's fallen down. Someone's broken the vase, the jar, or whatever it is. No, it's some kind of, not really a gargoyle, just a statue. So I'm going to throw this sword at you, give you a shock, or not, you know, and he just was not at all surprised by the fact that a giant sword sailed right past his bloody head. And that should kill you. Whoa, what the hell? I didn't realise that the moblin flying in mid-air was actually capable of, just going to do a few more spin attacks here, come on. But yeah, I didn't realise that the force of the moblin flying through the air was... Holy shit, speaking of flying through the air. But yeah, let me try and get this sentence out, because things keep happening to distract me from what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I didn't realise that the force of the moblin flying through the air was enough to do damage to other enemies. It's pretty cool, actually. So when you do actually knock a moblin over, you do need to try and hit them as fast as possible, because otherwise they're just going to do a really quick punch and just knock you really far, because that's what happened to me before when that guy punched me right off this edge. That was really not fun, to be honest. Now, I'm trying to hear this music. It's just the... Yeah, it's the A Link to the Past remixed version of the... Oh no, it's not. Never mind. Yeah, I was hearing it incorrectly. Anyway, I don't think this... Yeah, this is a different track. This is not related to A Link to the Past at all. And I like how that... I mean, that guy must be totally protected by that armor to not even feel all those impacts. Oh, now he's turned around and seen me, which is just a lovely thing. But I will mention that we do... And I think I kind of mentioned it in the past at some point, but we need to actually return to the Forsaken Fortress. I mentioned at some point, I think when I was actually in the Forsaken Fortress the first time, that we would be returning there. And the time where we will return there is pretty much now, or at least when we finally finish with these guys. That was a weird attack that I just did there. Sometimes the counterattacks are very odd. You can just teleport through time and space. Well, maybe not time, but you can definitely teleport through space to actually hit people. But I will mention that there is no optional aspect to this killing of all of the enemies that I'm doing here. It is actually a requirement that you kill all enemies in this area. Otherwise you will not actually be able to progress. Which is a shame, but it's not so much a bad thing, you know. You can get a few Knight's Crests through this, and that will ultimately, not like immediately, but it will ultimately allow you to get a new spin attack, which is essentially upgrading your ability, or bettering your ability to actually do damage to enemies in the future. So, yeah. I don't think that's a negative thing at all. Oh, Jesus. I will mention that these guys also do a lot of damage, so you really should try and avoid getting hit by them. When you're fighting so many of these enemies, it gives you a lot of opportunities to lose health, basically. So, well, then again, when you get these item balls, you do get a lot of hearts, and you should have a decent number of hearts by the time you come here anyway. Well, the point is, just don't take unnecessary hits anyway, just to be safe. Better be safe than sorry. Or better to be safe than be sorry. I might go and get you over here, because to me, it's almost like you're hiding. I can just attack you immediately, though. In terms of, like, hitting his helmet, we do need to do the... what's it called? The counter-attack to actually knock that off his head. I don't think there's another way to do it. You know, I mean, in case him doing it wasn't enough, I'm doing it too, so there you go. And by it, I'm of course referring to the angry yelling. Actually, it's not just angry, sometimes it's quite a pained roar. And as you can see, he does actually use a shield, which is why I wait when he's facing me to do the counter-attack, because he does actually shield with his shield. He shields with his shield. What an unexpected turn of events. Anyway. So many enemies here. It really does... I mean, I thought that there were less than this. I mean, I knew there were a lot, but come on, there are so many moblins through here. So many bloody... They're not Dark Knights, are they? No. I guess Armored Knights? What do you call them? They must have proper names. Dark Knights are completely different. They don't exist in this game. But yeah, Dark Knights, they were probably the most intimidating enemies of... Well, I'd say they're the most intimidating enemies of the 3D Zelda games as a whole. Like, they're just... Oh, nice! That was solid, what I just did there. That was... I liked that. But yeah, the Dark Knights from Ocarina of Time, they were pretty crazy. I mean, they just absolutely fucking annihilated you if you weren't careful. Like, something like 3 hearts of damage with a swing. It was just crazy. Oh no. Guys, I'm being serious. I might die to this guy. I'm not good against these guys. This is a Dark Knight. They're really hard. And I think it's really stupid that they're called Dark Knights. I mean, I don't know what a nut is. I don't know... I mean, why can't it just be Dark Knight? You definitely needed a fairy to go up against them. Unless you really had their attacks down. And you could get their attacks down. I mean, they were very... I mean, I can't remember if they necessarily telegraphed their attacks, but they did have a pretty predictable pattern, so... You could kind of, I guess, fight them based on that. And the classic attack once and then jump back is also employable, so it's a good idea to do that, I suppose. Why am I talking about Ocarina of Time while playing this game? I mean, I would definitely play Ocarina of Time HD if it were to exist on a system like this, but Ocarina of Time 3D? Fuck off! I'm not playing that. I don't want to play the GameCube version, let alone a watered-down version on the fucking 3DS. Oh my god. Well, I say watered down as, like... Well, maybe not even graphically speaking. I mean, to be honest, the GameCube version doesn't exactly have very good graphics either. And the reason why I say GameCube version, you're probably thinking, are you stupid, Doom Link? Released on the Nintendo 64. Yeah, well, I actually have the GameCube version of the game, which isn't any different at all to the Nintendo 64 version. It's just a port. It was not remade at all. It was just moved onto the GameCube version. And it came with Master Quest. It was the first thing to release with Master Quest, as far as I know. Now, I'm pretty sure I came in here this way, so I want to go back that way, because otherwise we'll end up going through... Oh, God. Yeah, we don't want to go this way yet. It's so confusing, because they show you the perspective coming from the opposite direction when you enter. It's really... Yeah, it is confusing. But anyway, now that I remember, we do come there. Yeah, anyway. But anyway, yeah, Ganon's Castle, or Ganondorf's Castle back in Ocarina of Time was where you fought the Dark Nuts, and they were pretty crazy. I never really understood the nut term. What's a nut? What's a dark nut? A dark knight? Yeah, but dark nut? What? Anyway. At long last, our preparations are complete. You must return to me... Sorry? Return to you? I have returned to you. I'm speaking to you right now. So that we can return... Why did you say return twice in the same sentence? What's going on here? Is this real life? Anyway, or is this just fantasy? The time has come to save your sister from her prison in the Forsaken Fortress. Well, there you go. I told you before we actually got that piece of text, or that bit of text, or whatever you want to say, that we were going back to the Forsaken Fortress. It wasn't much of a spoiler, because I didn't say it too long before we actually found out, but yeah. It was a bit, I don't know. Oh, hold the phone. Check this out. First bottle of the day. Alright, let's check it. Check it! Anyway, sorry, terrible reference that none of you will understand. Oh, hold on, before I do that, I thought I saw, oh, never mind, must have been the, what do you call that? Like the whirl, what the fuck do I call that? It's not a water spout. I can't say a tornado. I can't. We'll just say cyclone. No, I don't know what to call it. Anyway, so let's have a look at this note. It's by Josie. It says the biggest nose to face ratio in the history of Zelda canon. What do you mean? It's not that big. I'm not even going to show you that. The person's nose is not that big, and it's not that small either. So I don't know what the fuck this person's trying to say. I'm not even going to rate that. Fuck you. Sorry. Maybe I'm becoming a little bit more aggressive these days when it comes to this stuff. But I will mention, and this is an important moment, that we are about to get a new song. Now, if I go in this direction, I do have this map, don't I? Yeah, I do. Just double checking. But yeah, I'm going to head in this direction, guys, and there's actually a fairy island here that I have been to that fairy island, because I have already marked it on my map. And I have yet to actually go to a fairy island that doesn't have a thing that I can access, you know, or that didn't have a thing that I could access. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. Let's get that bottle, and I guess we'll read it. God, it takes a long time to stop when you're going that fast. Anyway, Job, nice name. On Outset Island, I farted fairies again. Hold on. That's not a funny image. Okay, let's just continue on. They're getting worse, everyone. So I'm waiting for that big whirlwind, or now that you can call that a tornado. You know, waiting to see it. I'm going the right way, aren't I? Yeah, I thought I was going the right way for that. Maybe I missed it? I don't know. I mean, it appears in different areas, but it's usually north of the Forsaken Fortress. Not the Forsaken Fortress, the fucking Tower of the Gods. Why am I calling it the Forsaken Fortress? Well, what's going on then? Let's just sail back. I don't have to change the direction of the wind, I just remembered. So we can just try and sail back here and see if we can find the thing. Wow, this sail is so good. I mean, I mentioned it before. I've mentioned it many times before, and I will mention it many times in the future. Just, like, this is a good sail. This is a really nice way to sail the seas. Now, I'm guessing it's going to be in this direction because... I don't know. It has to be in this direction. I mean, you can generally see it from pretty far away, I think, so... I mean, it appears to you in the distance pretty far away. So, there it is. Just saw it there. So the reason why we're actually aiming to get in there is because we can actually now do battle with this guy. And he's pretty easy to fight. I will mention that we do actually have a picture of Cyclos now. I will keep in mind that there is an invulnerability period for him when the cloud is flashing, so just wait until the cloud stops flashing and then, you know, you'll be able to hit him again. Just so you don't waste your arrows, you know. As you can see, he is bloody huge. That's a heck of an arm you've got there. And what an eye! No one's ever been able to spot me in there before now. You obviously have mastery of the air, and now that we've established you're quite the Wind Waker, let's see if you can handle this. Well, I know the song anyway, so I don't even need to watch. No. So, you see, I said I knew the song, but I'm not even doing it right. That's ridiculous. Anyway. I'm just a bit slow at the moment, I suppose. So you just learned the Ballad of Gales.